People living near the UK campus tell us they're concerned tonight after Lexington police say a string of sexual assaults in that area could be connected.
A Madison County man now faces charges in connection with a crash that killed a 22-year-old National Guardsman.
Why the Internal Revenue Service will be laying off thousands of workers, many of them in Kentucky.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Some of us saw rain tonight, but for the most part, the bluegrass stayed pretty dry today.
And Thursday could get off to a foggy start, so beware of that. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As we make our way through the overnight, we have mainly clear skies out there, nothing on the Defender radar network. And watch how quickly late tonight, early tomorrow morning, we start to see a little fog developing across the heart of the bluegrass and on top of Interstate 64 and areas all around and just to our south especially. It's forecasting visibilities under a mile, 7 o'clock in the morning. Busy time of the day for the commute in Lexington and surrounding areas. Quickly, though, by noon, that fog is lifting, giving us a partly sunny sky. Here we go on your Defender radar network with a cold front right on top of the bluegrass state today. That front just did not have enough push to make it all the way into our part of the world. Those thunderstorms stayed mainly to our north. One of the reasons that front did not push far enough to the south, because a tropical system that was throwing up the stop sign here just off the southeastern seaboard. How do we roll into the day tomorrow? A little fog and partly sunny into the afternoon. 85 degrees. Summer will not let go, but I'll focus on a cold front this weekend that promises to bring rain back into central and eastern Kentucky. How much and the hour-by-hour forecast at 11:13.
Chris, thank you. Police in Lexington think a string of sexual assaults in neighborhoods near the UK campus could be connected. And tonight, some students we talked to say they're taking some extra precautions.
Police released this sketch of the assault suspect today. They say the crimes have happened over the last few years. Monique Blair has the latest on the investigation. It's our top story at 11.
They are random. They are happening overnight and in neighborhoods surrounding the University of Kentucky campus. And police say it's because of these similarities. Several sexual assaults spanning several years could be connected.
And the perpetrator essentially comes out of nowhere to assault the victim. That's rare.
So now Lexington police say because there are so many similarities to how these sexual assaults are happening, they think the same person could be responsible for several past unsolved assaults. So now police are looking for a man who they think resembles this sketch.
Yeah, it's really scary.
UK junior Whitney Vickers lives very close to where the most recent sexual assault happened.
I mean, it's honestly not surprising. I feel like sketchy things are always kind of going on around here.
So now she and her roommates, all women, have taken steps to keep themselves safe.
Installed some security systems above our doors, so if the door is ever being tampered with, the security systems will go off.
Police say they don't want people to feel afraid, but simply be more cautious and aware of their surroundings.
We want to remind people that when you're walking alone late at night, that puts you at risk of violent crimes.
A UK spokesperson tells me the school has not issued a campus alert because there is not an immediate threat to the campus and because none of the assaults actually happened on campus. In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And police are not only looking for the suspect, but they also want to find the two young men who they say helped stop the most recent sexual assault on Arlington Avenue last month because they think those men could help with the investigation.
Nearly 5 months after a National Guard soldier died in a crash in Lexington, the driver has been charged with manslaughter. Police say 22-year-old Robert Nick Rucker was thrown from the car he was riding in when it crashed on Athens-Boonesboro Road back in April. He died at the scene. As Garrett Weimer tells us, new at 11, investigators think speed and alcohol played roles in that crash.
According to court documents, Michael Poe's blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit at the time of that crash. He's now charged with manslaughter. According to the criminal complaint, the car's data recorder shows the car was going 120 miles an hour on Athens-Boonesboro when it crashed. The speed limit there is 55, with a speed advisory sign for 35 miles an hour in the curve where it happened. Investigators say Nick Rucker was thrown from the car and died. Poe had only, quote, superficial injuries to his hands. From the criminal complaint, quote, while interviewing Mr. Poe, Officer Marlin observed slurred speech, watery eyes, and the odor of alcoholic beverages emanating from Mr. Poe's breath. Mr. Poe admitted to drinking a pitcher of beer by himself while eating at Hooters with friends between 2 and 3 p.m. and just prior to this event. Poe is charged with second-degree manslaughter, a felony. Again, from the criminal complaint, Mr. Poe's actions of operating a motor vehicle at a speed of 120 miles per hour with a blood alcohol content of .170 created a grave risk to Robert Rucker and thereby caused the death of Mr. Rucker. Poe is scheduled to appear in court here next week. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Nick Rucker was a member of the Kentucky National Guard and a student at EKU. His friends told us back in April he was a nice guy who always wanted to help out however he could.
New tonight, Lexington police say a man wanted for a robbery at a store has now been connected to 2 other crimes. They say they've obtained 2 new warrants for 22-year-old Devarius Jones in connection to a Lucille Drive home invasion last week and a robbery at Hibbett Sports in the Miss Lake Plaza yesterday. They already obtained a robbery warrant for Jones in connection to a robbery at Hibbett Sports in the Eastland Shopping Center last week. They've also charged 23-year-old Taji Winters with burglary in connection to the Lucille Drive home invasion. Police are still looking for both men. A Jessamine County pastor has a warning about a phone scam he says targeted him. Sean Mitchell, pastor of Nicholasville United Methodist Church, says when he answered a phone call last week, he could hear a child asking for help. He says at first he feared the worst.
A male voice came on the phone and said, "I've got your daughter," and he said her name, "and you're going to do what I say. You're going to give me money. Don't call the police. Don't call the FBI, or I'll put a bullet in her head."
He says he asked for more information, but the caller couldn't provide it. That's when he knew it was a scam. Mitchell later put a post on Facebook describing the experience because he said he wanted to alert others about the scam. Nicholasville police say because the call came from overseas, there isn't much they can do as far as investigating it.
Hillary Clinton released her medical records today as Donald Trump discussed his health on a TV talk show. The new information from both candidates comes as the race for the White House tightens in some polls. Craig Boswell has the latest now from the campaign trail.
Hillary Clinton's doctor wrote the 68-year-old is healthy and fit to serve as President of the United States. Dr. Lisa Bardak added that aside from Clinton's current bout with pneumonia, her recent physical exam was normal and that she is in excellent mental condition. The Clinton campaign released the information hours after Donald Trump brought a doctor's letter to a taping of the Dr. Oz show.
If elected at age 70, you'll be the oldest person to ever enter the Oval Office. Why do you think you have the stamina for the job?
Yeah, just about the same age as Ronald Reagan, and Hillary's a year behind me. I would say just based on my life. I mean, I actually, and I don't know if this makes sense, I feel as good today as I did when I was 30.
Trump discussed stamina at a rally in Canton, Ohio.
Do you think Hillary would be able to stand up here for an hour and do this? I don't know.
Clinton returned to the campaign trail Thursday. Her husband stood in for her in Nevada.
Stronger together beats the living daylights out of driving a stake through the heart of our common future and our common humanity.
Former Secretary of State Colin Powell had critical words for both candidates in hacked emails. Powell labeled Trump a national disgrace and an international pariah. He called Clinton a friend I respect in one email, but in another he wrote, everything HRC touches she kind of screws up with hubris. Neither Clinton nor Trump had any comment. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
A new Bloomberg Politics poll shows Trump leading Clinton 48% to 43% in a two-way race among likely voters in the battleground state of Ohio.
New tonight, the Internal Revenue Service has announced it plans to cut 1,800 jobs when it closes a facility in northern Kentucky. The jobs will be cut from the IRS facility in Covington. IRS leaders say they're consolidating processing facilities because of an increase in people filing their taxes online. They say the jobs will be cut by 2019, but they say some employees will have job opportunities elsewhere in the Cincinnati area. The IRS is Covington's second largest employer. The agency also plans to cut thousands of jobs in California and Texas.
There are many questions tonight about a fire that destroyed a well-known music hall in southern Kentucky. In 9 minutes, we'll hear from a woman who was inside that building when it caught fire.
And then what Lexington police think some thieves could be using to get inside locked cars around the city.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, our hump day is wrapping up. It's downhill toward the weekend. At least that's what we're told. And in terms of the weather, it's probably going to be downhill toward the weekend as well. Cold front number 1 is right on top of the Bluegrass State right now. It just did not have a big push to make it all the way in here this afternoon during the peak heating. So a lot of those thunderstorms falling apart into northern Kentucky. The culprit is just off the South Carolina coastline. What is a tropical storm that developed last night, and that kind of forced this front to put the brakes on. Although we're getting in on northerly winds that will feel better into the day tomorrow compared to what we had out there today. Current temperatures are generally into the low and mid 60s into southern Kentucky. A little corridor of 70 still showing up across Interstate 64. Defender Radar Network did have thunderstorms in northern Kentucky around parts of the Louisville area earlier. A lot of that, though, weakening because the sun was setting. We lost what heating of the day we had, and those thunderstorms said, I'm done. 85 for a high tomorrow, 80 to 85. We're going to see quite the spread showing up in thermometers across the land tomorrow, and it is mainly a dry day out there. What about high school football fans? We look ahead to Friday. Could be a storm or two, low 80s at kickoff, still into the muggy 70s right on through the rest of the day. Commonwealth Stadium on Saturday. Ponchos, showers, thunderstorms will be about the region with temperatures that will be generally into upper 70s to low 80s around kickoff and then sliding down from there. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast, and it is brand new, and it has those soggy changes for the weekend. It takes us deeper into the weekend now. Noon tomorrow, upper 70s, mid to upper 70s, northern Kentucky. So it's going to feel nice for parts of the area. Rest of the region tomorrow can make a run into the upper 80s again across the south. A little more cloud cover, and keep in mind that fog is around first thing tomorrow morning. How about at this time tomorrow night when we are talking to you? Still upper 60s to around 70, 65-ish to start out a steamy day on Friday. We are likely to see those readings on Friday to jump into the mid and maybe upper 80s ahead of some showers and thunderstorms. Check it out. Friday evening with some showers and storms around. Saturday morning with some showers and storms around. Saturday at noon with some showers and storms around. You get the idea into Saturday afternoon. And look at those numbers that really drop. That same computer model just for Friday and Saturday, and we've kind of honed in on those 2 days initially here, showing better than an inch of rain into much of central Kentucky especially. And this doesn't even include what would fall Sunday into Monday. So yeah, this front that's going to get in here over the weekend will be a very slow mover that'll likely produce some rounds of rain through the weekend. I'm continuing to say don't cancel outdoor activities, have a plan B, but I'll tell you straight up, if tomorrow and Friday the computers are still as wet as the one we were just looking at, we may change our mind and just call it a kind of a washout of a day on Saturday and maybe Sunday too. But again, we're early in the game still, so we'll fine tune it in the coming days.
You always have that right to reserve,
right,
so that you can take it back.
Always leave a little wiggle room, all right?
Yes.
First rule of forecasting.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, guys.
Many ITT students say they faced an uncertain future after the college's Lexington campus closed last week, but find out who stepped in to help tonight in 8 minutes.
Tonight, investigators are still trying to figure out what caused a fire that destroyed a Metcalfe County business.
The fire started last night at the Scotts City Limits Music Hall in Edmonton. Investigators estimate the fire caused more than $1 million in damage. One woman says she's been keeping an eye on the building since the owner, Scott Gentry, was arrested in a murder-for-hire plot in March. She says she was asleep in the building last night when a phone call woke her up and she saw the fire.
I'm lucky to be here now as it is. If it hadn't been for that phone call, I wouldn't be here.
No one was injured in the fire. Both state police arson investigators and the ATF were on the scene today. They say it's too early to tell if the fire was intentionally set. New tonight, police have made an arrest in connection to an arson that damaged a Florida mosque. The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office has charged 32-year-old Joseph Schreiber with arson, with Florida's hate crime enhancement included with that. Police say they found anti-Islamic social media posts connected to the suspect. The fire caused heavy damage at the Islamic Center of Fort Pierce over the weekend. The man police say killed 49 people in an Orlando nightclub earlier this year once attended that mosque.
3 people face charges tonight after a chase in 2 counties. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says deputies tried to pull over a car on Ridgewood Drive this afternoon, but the driver wouldn't stop. Deputies say the chase continued into Shelby County, where the car crashed into a mailbox and guardrail. They say 2 people inside the car ran off but were soon arrested, along with a 3rd person who stayed in the car. Deputies say 37-year-old Aubrey Bowie faces wanton endangerment, fleeing and evading, and receiving stolen property charges. 22-year-old Malachi Greathouse and 26-year-old Kayla Seeley were also charged. Lexington police are investigating a string of overnight thefts in the Greendale neighborhood near Masterson Station. Police say thieves broke into 4 cars and stole 2 others. They say the thieves took money from the cars that were not stolen. So far, police have not made any arrests. They say the thieves could be using a special device that can unlock cars with OnStar without sounding the alarm.
New tonight, state health leaders say a 73-year-old Louisville man has died of the West Nile virus. They say it is the first West Nile death in Kentucky reported this year. The virus is transmitted by mosquitoes. Health experts say West Nile symptoms include a slight fever, headache, and a skin rash. We do have some new information tonight about a police chase in Lexington that ended in a pond. Police say this afternoon officers saw a car on Center Parkway that had been reported stolen. So they tried to stop the car, but they say the 17-year-old driver got out of the car and jumped into a nearby pond. That's where police arrested him and charged him with receiving stolen property and fleeing. Police first thought the suspect was connected to a robbery at Hibbett Sports last night, but they say now that is not the case.
Former students of ITT Tech received some help tonight during a meeting in Lexington. The for-profit college closed its Lexington campus last week after the government questioned ITT's ability to serve its students around the country. Tonight, Bluegrass Community and Technical College and the Council on Post-Secondary Education teamed up for an information session to help ITT students. They were able to explore college options and learned about how they can receive financial aid.
And I think it's very important that we do everything we can. A lot of these students were at the verge of graduating, and so we think that it's important that we try to meet their needs and try to assist them.
A similar meeting will be held tomorrow night at the downtown campus of Jefferson Community College in Louisville.
The UK defense addressing the media for the first time since that mess in Florida. Brian?
Yeah, defensive coordinator DJ Elliott extremely upfront and honest about the current situation. And how much will it help the defense with Mark Stoops taking a more active role? Hear from the players next. Over the last 6 excruciating quarters of UK football, the game plan has changed with a simplification of the play calling in an effort to eliminate mistakes. Now, during the preseason, we heard Mark Stoops say several times he was going to put more on the plate of this team because he thought they could handle the extra load. After listening to DJ Elliott today, this team has not been able to carry the extra expectations so far.
You know, the biggest issue that we've had is we haven't been able to execute what we call. We haven't been able to execute and run the defense effectively and make the right checks, make the right adjustments, get in the right spots. That's been one of our problems. I think more than we anticipated. We lost our core of our linebackers and our defensive line last year, and so they could handle a lot. Those guys last year could handle a lot of calls. They could adjust, they could get lined up, they could communicate, they could be in the right spots. And what we're finding with this group is that they can't.
Now, Mark Stoops also said he was going to become more involved with the defense. No one has elaborated on what exactly that is, but the players love it. And why not? Stoops' entire background is on that side of the football.
With him saying that, he's in the meeting rooms a little bit more. He's on the field more, talking to guys about certain things. Taking time out of whatever period we're in to make sure that he's coaching the necessary techniques or the necessary keys that we need to know in a certain defense call. So I mean, it's fun, and it's good to see him out there. It builds confidence, to show that he cares that much about us to be out on the field with us, which we already knew, but just having it reinforced with him actually being on the field with us it's a positive vibe. It's positive, and so it's something that we need.
Kentucky and New Mexico State this Saturday at 4 o'clock on the SEC Network alternate channel in Lexington. That is channel 518 on your Time Warner cable. 2 members of the Denver Broncos defense have been fined a total of $42,500 plus for helmet-to-helmet hits on Panthers QB Cam Newton in the season opener. The fines are on linebacker Brandon Marshall. He got fined more than $24,000, and safety Darian Stewart more than $18,000. The penalties assessed by the league do not include any suspension. Only 1 flag was thrown last week on at least 4 to 5 helmet-to-helmet hits on Newton. Big Blue Madness a mere 30 days away. Can you believe it? When the season rolls around, the basketball Wildcats be wearing some new uniforms. Here's the picture posted from the UK Equipment Twitter account this morning. The most noticeable change is that blue checkerboard pattern, which has been added to the jersey. The checkerboard pattern on the side of the shorts. It goes the entire length of the shorts. The UK logo previously appeared above the checkerboard on both sides of the shorts. It's now been moved to the front of the left leg. At the Keeneland September yearling sales today, look at this. Hip number 454, a bay colt by Scat Daddy out of Leslie's Lady. The sales topper so far. Coolmore paying $3 million for the half-brother to Beholder. It's also the highest price paid for a thoroughbred at public auction in the world this year, and the highest price paid for a yearling at the September sale since 2010. Women's soccer tonight at the Bell. UK and Southeast Missouri tied at 1-1 on the throw-in. Look at the touch Jade Klump puts on this. Over the keeper in the 59th minute. It is 2-1 Cats. Now tied again, 2-2 in the 80th minute. The Cats put this away. Marissa Bosco centers it, and Tanya Samarzic with the header and the game winner. A back-and-forth match goes the way of the Cats. Final 3-2. That's sports. We'll be right back.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away here on WKYT. Tonight's guests include Trevor Noah.
One more day of fairly dry weather, right?
Tomorrow looks like a pretty good day overall. Humidities aren't too bad, even though it's still a little toasty at 85. 87 on Friday, a late day shower, thunderstorm. Best rain chances continue to come Saturday and Sunday. Just have a plan B to be on the safe side.
But you're going to be watching it very closely the next 2 days.
We'll tweak.
By the way, we're late tomorrow night. I'm going to blame him because of NFL football.
It's your fault.
Nothing. Why is it my fault?
You're the sports guy.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
I get blamed when it rains.